Get both sides of it. At the White House signing today, we had Ginny Gentles, who's the director of the Education Freedom and Parental Rights Initiative at the Defense of Freedom Institute. And as a sign of my education, if I did not have that written down, the chance of me memorizing it would have been 0.0%. Ginny, thank you for being with me. And I'm going to get the other side in a second, but you heard what I had to say. What is the case for why we're better off without this?
I think one thing that you didn't acknowledge was just how easy it is to pass funding from the federal level to the state level, which is something that was happening before the Department of Education was created. IDEA, Individuals with Education Act, that funding for students with disabilities, that was in place 5 years before 1975. And the Title I funding, that big funding for low-income students, that was in place 15 years before the creation of the Department of Education. So the funding was flowing before, it can flow now. Nobody has to be writing checks at the federal level. It can pass on through to the states without the layers of compliance and monitoring and reporting, all the things that are eating up state resources, district resources, taking the individuals closest to the students away, taking their attention away from those students, and leading to what we have now, which is 40% of students not even testing at the below basic level in some areas. So it's hard to defend the status quo. And I think that you've acknowledged that, and I appreciate that. It's also hard to defend what was a request of the teachers' unions, because we know that teachers' unions often are a pernicious influence in our education system. And this was a gift from Carter to the unions, as you mentioned, and time's up. It needs to go.
Well, I am not anti-teachers' unions. I'm not going to call them pernicious. That means wicked for all you people out there. I'm going to be a little slow on that, but I take your opinion because you're welcome to it on this show, and I push back. Two concerns. One, you're right, money can pass through, block grants, all other kinds of funding mechanisms that the federal goes directly to the state. However, are you worried about resources, especially in the context of knowing that if this comes out of the playbook of Project 2025, they don't want to be in the Title I business. They think the state should figure out how to pay for their poor students. So you worried about the amounts going down, even if the mechanism of transfer is simple.
We don't have a history of funding going down. When you're talking about IDEA, 14, 15 billion, Title I, 18, 19 billion. Title I has gone up by over 2 billion in recent years. 190 billion went out from the federal government through the Title I mechanisms in the COVID era in emergency supplemental funding. And we didn't see a great boost in outcomes when that happened. So we know that these increases over time, these big spikes like we had during COVID, they don't lead to what we want, which is educators closest to the students, making sure that their needs are met. Parents having the option to send their child to a school that best meets their needs. And all this bureaucratic layer upon layer, each layer taking a cut of the funding, that's not working, and it needs to stop.
I'm fine with less layers in the lasagna. You know, that goes into efficiencies and how you do it. I would be a little bit more careful of some of the other points. I think it gets a little slippery slope in terms of what works and what doesn't with education. All we know for sure is that we're not doing it well enough. But I'll tell you what, Ginny, thank you very much for making your side of it. You're always welcome here to do so. Appreciate you jumping in on short notice. We'll do it again. All right, now let's get the other side, okay? Wil Del Pilar, he'll tell me if I said it right in a second, Senior VP of EdTrust, a group that works to improve success in education for low-income students and students of color. First of all, Will, how bad did I mangle it?
No, you did a great job.
You sure? Okay. Because, you know, when your name is Cuomo, I should be sensitive to people pronouncing your name right when it has an ethnic twinge to it. All right, so, Will, the argument against is, man, the layers, you're killing us with bureaucracy. Just give us the money.
I mean, the bureaucracy exists in states. When you think about what states are doing, for example, in Texas, there's 1,000 districts. So if you're talking about the 1,000 cuts, the bureaucracy is largely at the state level. You have one state Department of Education in a state like Texas, but you have 1,000 districts. That means you have 1,000 superintendents. That means you have 1,000 folks who are looking at curriculum and making decisions about those things. So the bureaucracy taking cuts out of the funding that should be going to students is happening at states. I was in Pennsylvania for years, and Pennsylvania had 500 districts. So do you need 500 districts, or can you do it a different way? Can you do it, for example, at the county level? Are there other ways? And New York, where you're at also, is a state with a significant number of districts. And so when the states have these layers, layers in the lasagna, more layers in the lasagna, there's more cuts to be taken out. And so I would argue we have one federal Department of Education still. But at the state level, there are lots of levels of bureaucracy that are taking
So
dollars
you're
away and out of
saying,
the classroom.
so that's clever. So you're pro dismantle, just not at the federal level, at the state level. But the state level argument is, Will, I get you. Maybe we need to do both. Because our kids are getting dumber by the second, so we got to figure something out. But all right, maybe the states do need consolidation, fine. But on the federal level, you have these bureaucrats that crush people with compliance mechanisms that shouldn't be a new set of standards. Let the states do it as it was before 1980.
I don't think we should be moving to what we had before 1980, because when we look at the outcomes, they were unequal. So for example, the graduation rate, if we only want to talk about reading and math, that's fine. We could talk about other outcomes like graduation rate, bachelor's degree attainment. The graduation rate was 77%. Today it's 87%. For Black students, it was 61%. Today it's 81%. For Latino students, it was 59%. Today it's 83%. So the outcomes for students are better, right? If we want to look at scores coming out of 2 years of COVID, when students were learning at home, like, that's a straw man argument. That's an easy argument to push. That's an easy argument to make. But when we look at the data, when we look at, for example, bachelor's degree attainment, like in 1980, 7.6% of Latino adults had a bachelor's degree or higher. In 2021, it's 20%. So if you're going to say we haven't made any gains, there haven't been improvement made since the department came into effect, you're just wrong. You're not looking at the data.
That's a clever point also. Will, I appreciate you making both as we go forward. I don't think this is going to happen, by the way. Let me just be on record with that. I don't think it can happen. But if Congress decides to pass an act that changes the funding mechanisms or the programmatic ones, I'll bring you back and we'll keep talking about it. Thank you for jumping on. Nice to meet you. Hey, thanks for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your screen. And don't forget, click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.